Hi students, the next properties. Here properties. Properties of ethers. In the properties of ethers, the first one is physical properties. Physical properties. In the physical properties, if you are taking ethers are having ethers are having low melting points and boiling points. Low melting points and boiling points. When compared with other compounds, the highest melting and boiling points are observed for carboxylic acids, and the next one is for alcohols, and the next one is for ketones and aldehydes, and the next one is for ethers. Why these are having very less melting and boiling point means these carboxylic acids and alcohols are having hydrogen bonding. A strong hydrogen bonds are present. But in ketones and aldehydes, these are having dipole attractive forces. They are having dipole attractive forces, whereas ethers are having weak van der Waal attractive forces. Weak van der Waal attractive forces are present. So because of this reason, ethers are having less or low melting points and boiling points. Okay, and that is the reason for their melting and boiling points. And next here diethyl ether. Diethyl ether, if you are taking, this is having C2H5 O C2H5. Suppose this is the structure, and here this is molecule OH, and here this is having a hydrogen bond, and here it is having OH, and this is another hydrogen bond. So diethyl ether is soluble in water because of the formation of hydrogen bonding, but this is also less soluble only, and it has a little bit higher melting point and boiling points. Boiling point mainly because of this strong hydrogen bonding, and here in water soluble y means because of hydrogen bonding. Okay, that is physical properties. The next one is chemical properties of ethers. Here in the chemical properties of ethers, suppose if you are taking in this first one, if an ether is taken, that is ROR dash, it shows mainly three types of reactions. One is reactions due to alkyl group. Reactions due to alkyl group, and the second type of reactions are reactions due to ethereal oxygen. Reactions due to ethereal oxygen mean this oxygen. And the third type of reactions are reactions due to CO bond cleavage. Reactions due to CO bond cleavage. Here this bond dissociation reaction occurs, and these are the three types of reactions shown by the ethers. The first type is reactions due to alkyl groups. Here this is alkyl group and this is alkyl group. These alkyl groups involves in the reaction, but first and important thing is ethers are less reactive. Ethers are less reactive. Why they are less reactive means they are not having acidic hydrogen, and they are having alkyl group and oxygen and alkyl group. Means carbon oxygen bond only. There is no OH type bond in alcohols. OH bond is present in sorry, OH bond is present in alcohols, but this type of bond is not present in ethers. So ethers are less reactive because of their carbon oxygen bonds only. The alkyl group is less reactive and the ethereal oxygen is also less reactive, and because of this lone pair present on the oxygen, it acts as a Lewis base and Bronsted base. So it acts as a Bronsted base and Lewis base. And here these ethers are less reactive in normal conditions but highly reactive in drastic conditions. Means by taking when some condition, means high temperature, high pressure conditions are taken, then the reactivity increases. Okay. So in these three types, first we will see the reactions due to alkyl groups. See, reactions due to alkyl groups. In this first one is halogenation. Here, halogenation process. Halogenation. Whenever halogenation reaction is taken, in this halogenation, for example, I am taking diethyl ether. CH2, CH3, and here suppose chlorine is taken in dark conditions. Generally halogenation reaction occurs very easily, but in dark condition chlorine, here this is called as alpha carbon and this is beta and this is alpha dash and this is beta dash. Oxygen adjacent carbon is alpha and the next carbon is beta. Here oxygen adjacent carbon is called as alpha dash, beta dash. Okay, any side we can write one is alpha, another one is alpha dash. Okay, whenever the chlorine in dark conditions it is reacting, it reacts only at alpha dash positions. Okay, here it reacts at alpha dash position and it forms alpha dash dichloro diethyl ether. This is called as alpha dash dichloro diethyl ether. Alpha dash dichloro diethyl ether is formed. And same reaction if we are conducting this diethyl ether, the same reaction in sunlight. Here chlorination in the presence of sunlight. So suppose if sunlight is present, in sunlight if the same reaction is conducted, what happens means it reacts with 10 molecules of chlorine, all the hydrogen atoms are replaced with chlorine atoms. Means what we are getting is CCl3 and CCl2, O, again single bond CCl2 and CCl3, or we can write C2Cl5 O C2Cl5. This is also called as perchlorodiethyl ether. Sorry, perchlorodiethyl ether. The perchlorodiethyl ether is formed. So, in dark conditions, the reaction is slow and not vigorous. So, here what is happening? Only one chlorine atom at alpha positions is undergoing to reaction and giving alpha dash dichlorodiethyl ether. But in presence of sunlight, the reaction is vigorous and so it gives perchlorodiethyl ether. All hydrogen atoms of the ether are replaced with halogen and so we are getting perchloro. Perchloro means always if all hydrogens are replaced by the halogen, we can call it as perchloro haloalkane. That is perchloro or perhaloalkyl. Okay. This is reactions due to alkyl group. In this first one is halogenation. Reaction with atmospheric air. Here, when we are taking the ethyl ether, diethyl ether, when it is kept in the atmospheric air, what happens? Here, in the presence of air, it is reacting with oxygen and it is forming CH3, CH2, OCH3, CH3. Sorry, it is CH2, CH3. Okay. So this is called as diethyl peroxide. This is simply called as diethyl peroxide. And sometimes this structure we can also, or they gives me in a different manner like this. They are also giving in this manner. This is also diethyl peroxide. Okay, a diethyl peroxide formation occurs. Okay, in the place of oxygen, we are the ethyl ether is reacting with oxygen and giving peroxy bond containing ether. So the peroxy bond containing ether is formed, that is called as a diethyl peroxide, and the peroxide present in the ether can be removed. Generally, it is in peroxide form. For example, the diethyl ether is in peroxide form. This peroxide is treated with ferrous salts. Generally, ferrous salts means FeSO4 is taken, ferrous sulfate. Then the ferrous salt reacts with a peroxide containing ether and this is converted to ferric salt. This ferrous salt is converted to ferric salt or not, how we can check means this ferric salt is now treated with KCNS, potassium thiocyanate. Whenever we are reading this one, then it forms FeCNS taken thrice. Okay, or we can write sometimes or in some books they may use like FeSCN taken 6 times minus 3. Okay, that is ferric thiocyanate. So this ferric thiocyanate is present and this ferric thiocyanate formation indicate sorry, ferric thiocyanate formation indicates the formation of ferric ions here. This ferric ions formed means ferrous ions are reacting with peroxide and this is a blood red colored precipitate. You studied in first year means when qualitative analysis of organic compounds is taken. In the qualitative analysis, when a organic compound contains both carbon, nitrogen and sulfur, actually carbon definite and nitrogen and sulfur both if present, then we can use this test only for getting the result for having carbon, nitrogen and sulfur mainly. If both nitrogen and sulfur are there, then we will get the blood red color precipitate. Okay, and one more reagent here, the ferrous sulfate and peroxide, hydrogen peroxide mixture is called as Fenton's reagent. You simply separately you remember the mixture of ferrous sulfate and hydrogen peroxide is called as Fenton's reagent. Okay, this is reactions due to alkyl groups. Next one, reactions due to ethereal oxygen. In this reaction due to ethereal oxygen, here in this first one, the ether oxygen atom, here this oxygen atom is having a lone pair. Because of this lone pair, it acts as a Lewis base and also acts as a Bronsted. It also acts as a Bronsted base. Also acts as a Bronsted base. So because of this nature, it can react with a proton, means proton accepting capacity is present. So it reacts with mineral acids. And here, for example, I am taking ROR dash, it is reacting with HCl, then it is forming RO, and here one lone pair is participating or giving to this H plus, and so it is forming a dative bond with this. and here it is getting H plus positive charge even though it contains a lone pair, and here the Cl minus we can write, and this is called as dialkyl oxonium hydrogen chloride. Dialkyl oxonium hydrogen chloride is formed. Okay, dialkyl oxonium chloride also we can write simply, instead of hydrogen also directly dialkyl oxonium chloride. Okay, and similarly it reacts with ROR dash reacting with H2SO4, and then it forms RO positive and one hydrogen and R dash and HSO4. This is called as dialkyl oxonium. This is called as dialkyl oxonium hydrogen sulfate or bisulfate. This is called as hydrogen sulfate or bisulfate. So diethyl ether reacts with mineral acids HCl, H2SO4, even HNO3 also we can write. Dialkyl oxonium nitrate is formed. Okay, so the type of oxonium salts, mainly on reaction with mineral acids, they are producing oxonium salts. Oxonium salts are formed when they are reacting with mineral acids. And in the same way, these can react with, suppose this is a alkyl group and oxygen is having two lone pair, it can react with Lewis acids like AlCl3, BF3, and this is forming ROR and having a lone pair and given to the Lewis acid and forming a salt. These are commonly called as etherates. This compound is called as etherates. Dialkyl oxonium aluminum chloride etherate. With BF3, it is also giving same O, and this is R dash. Here suppose it is R dash. Then it is a dative bond and if BF3, and this is also boron trifluoride etherate. So etherates are formed when they are reacting with Lewis acids. Similarly, we can write like RMGX, or I am writing like RMGX here. This RMGX magnesium is also taking this lone pair from the ethers and it is forming RMGX, and here it is forming a complex. So R dash, one lone pair is now, and again another molecule R dash and one lone pair is present. Means see here, this is a Grignard reagent. This is the Grignard reagent, and this is ether molecule, this is another ether molecule. It is a complex compound type structure, and this is also Grignard reagent etherate. Okay, the type of complex formation, and because of this reason, in the preparation of this organometallic compounds or Grignard reagent, we can use a dry ether. Okay, it is a best solvent. Dry ether is a best solvent for the preparation of organometallic compounds.